It began with a simple, audacious act. 49 gleaming gold bars, worth a king's ransom, vanished from the Perth Mint without a trace. The city of Perth, known for its quiet streets and secure institutions, was about to become the stage for one of the most remarkable heists in Australian history. There was no gunfire, no masked men bursting through doors, just a quiet, almost mundane handover that would change everything. The very people meant to guard the gold handed it over, deceived by official-looking paperwork and the unwavering confidence of the thieves. The Perth Mint, a fortress of finance and trust, was outsmarted in broad daylight, its reputation shaken to the core. The thieves didn't need to break in, they simply walked in, armed with forged documents and nerves of steel. On June 22, 1982, a security van with all the right paperwork in hand arrived at the Mint as if it were any other day. The guards saw nothing amiss. The signatures matched, the request seemed routine, and the process unfolded as it always had. 68 kilograms of pure gold, worth over $650,000 at the time, and millions today, were loaded into the van with practiced efficiency. The van drove away, the gold gone, and not a single person realized a crime had just unfolded before their eyes. Hours ticked by before anyone noticed something was wrong. The silence was deafening. The Mint's daily routine continued, completely oblivious to the staggering loss that had just occurred. The genius of the swindle was its simplicity and silence. No one suspected a thing until it was far too late. The criminals exploited trust, using the Mint's own procedures and the complacency of routine as their most powerful weapons. No alarms, no violence, just a perfect lie, executed with flawless precision and timing. The guards finished their shifts, the paperwork was filed, and life at the Mint went on as if nothing had happened. The heist was so clean, so expertly orchestrated, it took hours for anyone to even suspect that something was amiss. The swindlers proved that with enough nerve and cunning, you could walk into one of the most secure buildings in Australia and walk out with a fortune, no force required. The crime exposed a psychological blind spot. If everything looks right, it must be right. The illusion of normalcy was their greatest ally. The Perth Mint Swindle became a legend, not for its violence or chaos, but for its sheer audacity and the way it rewrote the rules of what a heist could be. It was a perfect crime, at least for a little while. The city would soon wake up to the shocking truth. The gold was gone, and for a brief moment, the city of Perth had no idea that history had just been made in its midst. To grasp the scale of the swindle, you need to understand the Perth Mint. Established in 1899, it was a symbol of Western Australia's wealth and stability. Its limestone facade was a fortress, its reputation built on trust and security. The Mint refined gold from the outback, producing coins and bars trusted worldwide. Every gram was tracked, every transaction required signatures and verification. Security was paramount. Thick walls, reinforced vaults, and round-the-clock guards. The Mint's greatest strength was its rigid adherence to procedure. But that trust in process became its weakness. The swindlers didn't need to break the rules, just follow them perfectly. The Mint's focus on physical threats left it blind to deception by paperwork. The criminals understood, if you master the system, you can beat it from within. The Perth Mint's infallibility was its Achilles heel. The investigation pointed to three brothers, Ray, Peter, and Brian Mickelberg. Not hardened criminals, but ordinary men. Ray, an ex-SAS soldier, Peter, a teacher, Brian, a tradesman. Their backgrounds gave them unique skills, discipline, intelligence, and respectability. They weren't outsiders, they were part of Perth's fabric, making the crime even more shocking. Police believed the brothers studied the Mint's operations for months, searching for a weakness. The prosecution painted them as meticulous planners, driven by the thrill of outsmarting the system. But the brothers denied everything, claiming they were framed. Their denial turned the case into a decades-long legal battle. Were they criminal masterminds or innocent men caught in a web of flawed justice? The question would haunt Perth for years. The swindle was a masterclass in social engineering. The first step, gather intelligence on the Mint's procedures for gold collection. The thieves forged a purchase order for 49 gold bars made out to a fake mining company. The documents had to look perfect, right letterhead, terminology, and signatures. They also forged instructions for a legitimate security company, arranging a special pickup. Every detail had to withstand scrutiny from both the mint and the security firm. The forgeries created a believable paper trail, a false reality that fooled everyone. The swindlers counted on staff trusting the process over their own intuition. A perfectly executed forgery, they knew, could bypass even the tightest security. On that June day, they proved it. The heist unfolded with chilling precision, every move calculated and rehearsed to perfection. A conspirator, calm and collected, called a security firm, posing as a mining company executive with an urgent request. He requested a van and a guard for a special gold pickup, insisting it was a matter of utmost importance. The security firm, seeing nothing unusual in the paperwork or the request, agreed without hesitation. The guard met the executive, received the forged paperwork, documents so convincing they raised no alarm, and headed to the mint. At the loading dock, the documents were reviewed and accepted by mint staff, who saw nothing amiss. 49 gleaming gold bars were retrieved, carefully counted, and loaded onto a sturdy trolley. The bars were wheeled to the waiting van, under the watchful eyes of mint staff and the hired guard, everything appearing routine. Final paperwork was signed, the van doors locked with a heavy click, and the driver departed without a second glance. The entire transaction took only minutes, clean, efficient, and so unremarkable it barely registered with anyone involved. No drama, no suspicion, just a routine handover, blending seamlessly into the day's operations. The swindlers had used the mint's own security and a reputable third-party firm as unwitting accomplices in their scheme. The gold wasn't stolen in a dramatic raid. It was checked out as casually as a library book, with paperwork to match. As the van disappeared into the busy city traffic, the impossible had been achieved, right under everyone's noses. Nearly 70 kilograms of gold vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a trail of flawless forgeries and stunned investigators. For hours, the crime went undetected. The corridors of the mint remained eerily silent, with no sign of the chaos that had just unfolded. Security cameras captured nothing out of the ordinary, just another quiet night. The bubble burst with a routine phone call. What started as a simple inquiry would soon unravel a web of deception. The mint mentioned the gold withdrawal to the mining company, who knew nothing about it. Panic set in. Records were checked, and confusion quickly turned to alarm as the truth began to emerge. The truth dawned. They'd been tricked. The documents were forgeries, expertly crafted to fool even the most diligent staff. The van was a getaway vehicle, vanishing into the night with its precious cargo. By the time anyone realized, it was long gone. The mint hadn't sold the gold. It had given it away, unwittingly handing over a fortune to the thieves. News of the swindle rocked Western Australia. The city buzzed with rumors and speculation as disbelief turned to outrage. The mint's reputation was shattered. The government was embarrassed. Questions flooded in from every direction. Police launched one of the largest investigations in state history. Media frenzy followed, with reporters scrambling for every detail. Headlines screamed of the great gold swindle, splashed across front pages in bold, dramatic type. The public was captivated by the crime's audacity. Conversations in cafes and offices buzzed with theories and suspicions. Investigators had little to go on, a vague description, forged documents, and a city on edge, waiting for answers. The security guard was cleared. He was just another victim, caught up in a scheme far bigger than himself. The pressure to solve the case was immense. Every lead was chased, every clue scrutinized, as the world watched. The hunt for the swindlers and the missing gold dominated the nation, setting the stage for a dramatic pursuit that would grip Australia for months to come. The investigation, codenamed Operation Carrara, was under intense pressure. Focused on the forgeries and the man who hired the van, detectives soon zeroed in on the Mickelberg brothers. Alleged confessions from Brian and Peter became the prosecution's foundation. The brothers were arrested and charged. The public believed the case was solved. But the brothers quickly retracted their confessions, claiming coercion. Allegations of police misconduct and planted evidence surfaced. The case became a battle of credibility, mired in controversy. What began as a hunt for thieves became a divisive legal saga, questioning the justice system itself. The Mickelberg trials were sensational. Ray and Peter were convicted in 1983. Brian was acquitted of the swindle, but convicted on a related charge. The state declared justice served, but the brothers fought on, claiming innocence. Their persistence turned the case into a cause célèbre, raising doubts about police conduct. In 2002, a retired officer admitted to fabricating evidence and perjury. This bombshell led to the quashing of Ray and Peter's convictions in 2004. The state apologized and paid compensation. The narrative flipped. The supposed masterminds were now seen as victims. The real thieves were never found. The 49 gold bars remain missing. The Perth Mint Swindle became a story of both audacious crime and a flawed justice system. Its mysteries endure. The Perth Mint Swindle left a lasting mark on Australia. The Mint overhauled its security, ending the era of trust-based procedures. The case exposed vulnerabilities in both institutions and justice. The exoneration of the Mickelbergs raised questions about police integrity and due process. The story became a legend, an unsolved mystery that still fascinates. If the brothers didn't do it, who did? Where is the gold? The swindle is more than a crime. It's a cautionary tale about trust, power, and the dangers of certainty. In these stories, we find not just entertainment, but a mirror to our society's strengths and flaws.